in the year 2014 we nategeera ddala nti eggulu gye liri ebyaddala Katonda gyali ate neegenda gyeri ebyaddala, and God has control over hell. Today morning I was reading the book of Revelation, right from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Ziraga nti God, he's the first begotten of death. And then in chapter 2 he says that I've got the keys of hell and I've got power over death. So he controls whatever it is. He controls hell, he controls the heavens, he controls the earth, he controls the whole universe. Kati mu 2014 tumala okugenda okwebaka nga tumaze okukayana ne mama wange whether heaven was real. Malayika n'angamba ntino nga maze okuyingira rumu yange, malayika n'angamba ntino, Rebecca, we honored the words that you spoke with your mother. Kubanga gwe wasabye nti weba gye biri ebyaddala ddala nange Mukama ankyalire. So that's why I'm here. Nzijukira yangamba bugambi weeveemu ne neefuluma ebigere, nagenda neezinga ne neefulumira wano. So during that time bwe namala okuyimira ne ngamba ne mugamba labayo, that is my dead body. How will it be hard when my mother wakes up that omwana we afudde? I was so concerned about what my mother would say. And then the angel held my hands, and it didn't even take a second. I was in heaven. When I reached heaven, he showed me a garden, and he told me that was my garden, and I hadn't dug anything. Nangamba, you're supposed to dig that garden of yours, but you haven't dug. Kati wetuba tukukimye, Rebecca togenda kuddayo. Nga kitegeeza ekyo nti I had a purpose unto which I had been. Naina omugaso Katonda kye yantadde ku nsi, yalampadde n'ebyokukola ku nsi, naye nali sikoze. Kati oba tokoze, kiba kitegeeza that you're useless. Mukama kye yalagezaako kuŋŋamba during that time. Ne mugamba ngenda kuddayo nneme, nampa enkumbi, ne mugamba ngenda kuddayo nneme, nenkwegayiridde leka nzire mama nga aleme kusanga mulamba. I was so concerned about what my mother would say. I didn't want my mother to cry. I didn't want my mother to lose me. Kati tuba tukomawo nga tutuuse mu bbanga awo, nze nalaba ekizikiza nga kizinzeeko ensi yonna. Kati mu kizikiza ekyo, it was a canopy ng'ezinzeeko. I was separated by a canopy of darkness from the heavens. Kati mba ndi mu bbanga, I could sit down. Nalaba ekkanisa. This is what I saw in church. I saw a lot of people holding spears and knives, backstabbing each other. Nalaba ekkanisa ng'ejjudde omusaayi. Nalaba abantu nga boogera ku bannaabwe. Nalaba ebigambo ebimenya emitima gy'abantu. Nalaba obubi nga bujjudde mu kkanisa. There was a lot of sin in church. I was particularly concerned about church and not probably Uganda during that time. Ninze Mukama kye yandaga. The church was full of sin and pain, and people were crying, they were killing each other. Abantu bakuta ebiso nga bafumita banaabwe, so oli wakufumita omusaayi gufuluma. People were dying. N'abasinga bali bafa bigambo by'abantu, ng'abantu bafa kubanga babafumisa emigongo, babafumisa emitima. People were killing each other openly, and the church was in darkness. Ekizikiza nga kijjudde mu kanisa. Church gye nalaba probably that time was representing, even up to now, it still represents all the other church buildings that we go to. It represents the body of Christ as a whole, mugwanga lyonna, mu nsi yonna. It was a very bad thing. Nemugamba kangende ngenda kubagamba. Just imagine 2014, and this is the time I'm speaking about them, by the way, 2021. I'll also tell you why. Kati wemala okumugamba ati ngenda kubagamba ntandike n'okulima ku nnimiro yange, ntandike okukola ku mulimu ogwo gwe wantuma okukola. I think that is when my eyes should have been opened in the spiritual side, that I was supposed to go back and speak out and talk to people and speak goodness and love unto the Church of Christ that time in 2014, but I didn't understand it. So chanjawulo nnyo, you can be born again for as many years and you don't know your true calling and you don't know why you were put on earth. it's very possible. I've seen many Christians walk a life of desperation, a life of worship, naye nga tebamanyi lwaki bali ku nsi. And people tell you, simanyi lwaki nalokoka nesimanyi lwaki nze ndi mukwaya nesimanyi oba wenna okubeera. So when I came back, malayika yankomyewo mu room yange n'angamba yingira weeyingiremu, ne nyingirira wano, and then I became full the whole side. And then during that time, that was when I woke up and then unlocked the door, rushed to my mother's room and told her, mbadde nfudde. Mami mbadde nfudde. So I told her that take out. She's like, Rebecca, toddamu kusagira mu bintu bino kubanga eggulu gye lyebya ddala ddala. So njagala bagamba olunaku olwalento eggulu. The heaven is real. Eggulu gye liri ebya ddala ddala. Don't joke about these things. The spiritual realm is too fast, it's too existent, it's too working, it's too speedy. Gye liri ebya ddala ddala. My second encounter, mbandi bushenyi mu training, awo nali maze n'okuzaala omwana nga wa 3 months. Yes, now I remember, it was 21st September 2014. I remember that day because a lot of things have happened to me on the 21st of September. Number one, it was my wedding day. Number two, nali nzaliddeko omwana, 2 children by the way. After that encounter, 21st September, nzalirako abaana. And then that particular encounter, nali maze ku traininga, I was in Bushenyi, omwana wange yali muto nnyo. And then tumaze okusaba ne mukwano gwange nayinza okukola naye field work eyo. Twali tumazeyo weeks 3. Mukama n'angamba, tomorrow you're having your last day of training. But remember, I had about 3 days to go. N'angamba, tomorrow you're having your last day of training here. Go back. Kati olugi bwe lweggula, my spirit could tell. Omwoyo yatambula very, very fast and accurate. My spirit could tell that ono yali Mukama. Nzijukira namugamba tontwala, n'angamba weeveemu, I don't have time. Size ku negotiatinga. Kati weneevaamu n'angamba kankutwale gy'ogwanidde okubeera, n'antwala mu Yearn. Ze ntuuka mu Yearn nzijukira I was clinging on to the Lord during that time. I was clinging on to God nga ndi mugamba bambi tondeka eno. Kanagenda okulaba nga aneekutulako, but wenali ntambula naye teri muzimu gwantuukirira nze. Kyobula nkugamba that he has the power over hell and over death. Kanalaba akawuzi ke yayitamu n'afuluma, nenkagobera nange nenkeekwatako nenfulumayo, nesange mu kifo kye bayite Kawaala mu Kampala. Mu Kawaala natuukirawo sisita wange naye neekwese mabega wa toye. Omwana sisita wange n'ansangawo n'angamba, Rebecca, Yesu abadde ayita mu Kawaala ne mu Bawalakata ng'akonkona ku mayumba g'abantu naye tewali aguddewo okuggyako ffe. Just imagine the whole of Kawaala. I think Kawaala and Bawalakata combined, they've got probably a total population of about 200,000 people. N'angamba abadde akonkona tewali aguddewo, ffe abaguddewo, n'ayogera ne mami n'atuwa omukisa n'agenda yakava wano katikati. So as the child was explaining to me, nawulira omuntu ankwata ku kibegabega n'angamba, Rebecca, I'm omnipresent, I'm omniscient, I'm omnipotent, I'm everywhere. Kane mugamba maama, ne mugamba Yesu nkwegayiridde. Omwana wange bagenda busanga Bushenyi mu hotel bagambe nti omukyala yafudde yalesewo omwana we, and I have a husband in Kampala. N'angamba jankutwale kale gy'ogwanidde okubeera. I remember him touching my hands like this. The moment he would do his hands like this, nange neeyala straight mu bbanga. Holding him, it didn't even take a second again. Nesanga ndi muggulu, nandaga ennimiro. N'angamba ennimiro gye nakuwa wakagirimako 4 holes. I dug just like this, 4 holes in an acre of land. Nemugamba ngenda kuddayo nkole kyewantuma okukola naye nyamba nzireyo. And during that time onali mugamba obwongo bwange naye mbusibidde ku mwana, mugamba omwana wange bajja musanga mulamu ate nga nze nfudde. there will be a problem. I'm in a foreign place, that's where I'm training from. Siri wakana mwami wange. If I was home, it would be a different story. Nto mwami wanga jamla yangamba nto mwana wo ngenda kumulabirira. I'll look after Darlene. Namwegairira nkomewo. But before I came back, yangamba teka wengalo yankwata mu ngalo zino. Nangamba Rebecca, I'm empowering you. I've empowered you. Nkwadde amaanyi n'obuyinza buli ky'onoolagira ku nsi ngenda kukikola wano mu ggulu, as long as your heart is connected to the heavens. What was God looking out for during that time? A relationship with him. It didn't matter at this particular time whether I'd spent many years in salvation. I'd spent many years in salvation, and then God was telling me during this particular encounter that I'm now looking out for that marriage relationship. Reason being that we are the bride of Christ. Tuli bagole ba Yesu. When God first came to earth, he gave us, there are like 4 levels of that marriage vow between us and Christ. He first called us friends. He reaches a level and then he calls us sons and daughters. And then later on, he calls us his bride. That is a marriage vow you're taking with the Lord, and that's the kind of relationship Katonda jakwagalamu. So Katonda wamala okwogera nange during that time and empowering me. He did it 3 times. 3 times. Obwongo bwange bwali butegeera bulungi, and my spirit was so awake. When I came back, nalaba entebe. Before I reached, my feet touched the earth. Nalaba entebe ngenetera okutuula, ebigere byayo bina nga binatera okutuula ku ttaka. And during that time, Mukama yangamba nti gendo bagambe nti natera okutuula ku ntebe eyo. Natera okutuula on that seat, judgment throne. Rebecca, when I sit on that throne, nja kuba ntandise kati omulimu gwa ddala ogw'okulamula ensi n'omusango gw'ensonga. Yangamba gende Soroti. Nangamba tomorrow after training you'll find a Bismarck coach parked outside. Board it. You'll reach Kampala by 6, and by 6, about 6:15, you'll be at your church. You'll find 2 cars parked. Just enter and go to Soroti. When you reach Soroti, tell my people that heaven is real and hell is real. Ate natera okutuula ku ntebe. Nasanga emotoka 2 ku church the following day, ebyaddala ddala. Kati nkubulira reality nga si this now spiritual encounter. Nasanga emotoka 2. Omugenzi gwe bayita omusumba Sekajja namugamba nti njagala genda Soroti, nangamba emotoka zaali zijjudde. And then I was like, oh God, you nawe okiraba nti emotoka zijjudde ate bagobemu n'abantu 2 abali extra. And then I called one pastor. He was called Pastor Sentongo. Nemubulira that encounter. Nanga Rebecca noonya engeri gy'ogende Soroti. Bwe natuuka, I didn't go to Soroti. I will not explain the reason. But first the car was full. Then the other reason I may not speak it out now. It had to do with family. Naye we natuuka later ngenda ogenda later in Soroti in 2016. But those years when I didn't go to Soroti, they were the hardest years of my life because I didn't heed to that voice. Then when Amalo took a Soroti, a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. In the next video, I'll explain to you what really happened in Soroti. God bless you.